Good
Morning.
morning and welcome. We'll start in a minute.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mukesh.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Dr. Hari Prabhu.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you on the camera, Priyabrata.
Thank you, sir.
How's it going? Everything well?
Fine, sir.
Fine, sir.
Good. So let's get started. Today is a little bit of a three-legged race. The race between Agile, the race between Sam, and the race between Addy. Okay, if I were to begin in those terms, so let's look at Addy, and all of you know Addy. So we'll just revise a little bit and then play around, with the three methodologies of ID. So any questions since the last class and the last class and the last class? We are already 3 down. So any questions you have?
Hi, good morning, sir. My name is Siddharth. This is my
Yes.
first class today, so I don't have any questions, but I would like to understand as much as possible from this particular class of yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Siddharth. So what we discussed on day 1 was foundations of instructional design. I mean, if I were to tell the bottom line, like my boss used to ask me,
Yeah,
Rahul, show me the last slide first. I don't want all the story.
that's
So
right.
if you had to tell somebody in one line,
Yeah,
it's about how to make learning engaging for
yeah,
the learner, looking at his need. So
right, sir.
instructional design is a discipline which actually looks at the need of the learner and not really the prowess of the trainer. Okay,
Right,
so there are two things that I teach to dazzle people. Oh, wow, I know so much. The other is that I make modules, I make things, I make learning materials, I do pre-course materials, I do a quiz, I do a poll, which engages and attracts, and the learner finds value in it. Okay, so this is the subject of ID. A
right, sir.
part of it is technical, a part of it is behavioral. So we'll get on with today, and I think you have not lost much. Only that
Yeah,
you need to get to the details if you were to pass an exam.
that is right.
So
Absolutely.
I did one on foundations of instructional design. Then we went into the various methodologies. Okay,
Yes.
one more thing was we did something last class, which was slightly theoretical in the sense, why do adults learn? Okay, so let me give the question back to you. Why do you think an adult like you will join a course like this or join any training program? Let's not take this PGP course. Why
Right.
will an adult join a course?
Because
Learning it,
the
sir.
industry is, whichever industry we are working in, or the world per se, is quite dynamic, right? And things are changing very fast. The needs of the customers are changing very fast. So we'd like to keep ourselves ahead of the curve and learn and gather as much as possible so that we don't uh, fall behind. And at the same time, we are able to cater to the needs of our customer. And obviously, our own personal growth, professional growth, everything is there. So I think the primary reason is that we want to remain in sync with the moving world and remain relevant. That is the important thing. Yeah.
Excellent. I thought there was another answer coming up. So just taking that
Yeah.
one. Why do adults learn? Thank you, Siddharth.
Thank you so much.
Sir,
Yeah.
passionate about learning some new things, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hari Prabhu, since you are, so attained and yet you are learning. But I mean, just the correct answer, I mean, if I were to give an exam, an adult will learn only if there's a need to learn. For example, I need to learn this to get a certification, which will get me a promotion. So that is what we discussed the last day, the theories. So there was a Malcolm, David Kolb, so many theories apart from Skinner, that why do people learn? And the learning theories and adult learning is known as andragogy. Okay, learning enables our Prasanna, as always, gives You know, he's like Varun Chakravarti. He'll bowl. So there's a bowler
We
in
can,
Kolkata.
so we can
Uh,
face the need to learn to grow.
yes, Nilam. Thank you. You are not audible. Okay, who says this? Just one sec. Nitin. Am I audible to Neelam? Nitin, if you can try logging in. I'm trying to
Yes,
speak.
yes, sir.
Audible? Okay.
Yes, sir, audible.
Very much.
You are
You are
audible, sir.
audible very clearly, sir.
So good. Let's begin with today. Okay, the idea was that it's a easy module, but only that you have to be mindful step by step and just take heed of your adults learn only when there's some perk at the end. Definitely if there was a reward, okay, maybe a Kit Kat or something, or a learning pathway. So adults will not learn if you tell them to learn, unlike children who have to go through a course or a curriculum because they have to clear their board exams. And all these results are being out now. So you can see the excitement in the faces of the children, of their parents. So I'll tell of a place where I went yesterday. I met a lot of children, but that's later. Let's get on with what we wanted to. So today is on, it's slightly technical in the sense we are getting into instructional design models and framework. Okay. So a bit of it is a repeat. Let me see one more chat which has come in. Avinash says, okay, perk at the end. Thank you, Avinash. And Neelam, everybody gave a right answer. So what are the instructional design models? Now, one we already did. Okay. And you know about it. So the first one, predictably, the first suspect is ADDIE. So what are the learning modules for today? The learning outcomes, what we need to do by 11:15 is in this 1 hour. And I'm so glad that, you know, the classes have become 1 hour. Earlier, it used to be 90 minutes and sometimes it used to drag. Now there's no scope of drag with so many of us. Just keep on asking questions and we go with the flow. So we'll do the ADDIE model. Now, not at contravention, but there are always people who wants to improvise. They say ADDIE is like test match. We now play 2020. So they discovered something like a SAM model that I do it iterative. And then again, you know, the IT people like us, my background was that of IBM. I mean, before BHEL and Tata Steel, when I was a brick and mortar guy in the 80 to 2000, I'll say the first 2 decades. But the first 2 decades of this century, it would be largely, into a IT world where they always go by Agile. Agile means there'll be a stand-up meeting, there'll be a scrum. So let's say you're in a project. So for example, in an IT, and I'm just talking a little IT, just pardon me that amount of, leeway. So if there's a project with Nestle or if there's a project with Tetra Pak, so every morning they'll have a scrum meeting. They'll stand up, they'll say what went right yesterday, we couldn't fix this bug. So it's very on the go, which is far away from ADDIE model, which I would say historically, if I were to give an example, in IBM, we used to have a fall plan. So fall is when in America, the leaves fall. And many of you have been there or seen your relatives sending pictures of the leaves which fall and take an auburn hue. So during that time, when the world slows down, they do a training needs analysis. They go to the business leader and they say what's lacking or what is new coming up. So business leaders give a requirement and slowly the modules are developed. So the training budgets are very important because that is the time when we secure. So for example, I go to a business leader and say, well, you know, Rahul, we want a little bit of a negotiation training. Our people are good, but they can't fight the Indian players. They're cheap, TCS, Tech, Mahindra. So what he wants to is a negotiation training. Now, he will speak in business language. I'll have to understand in my HR or L&D language. Now, the moment he says this, I will say that, look, there's a budget which is required. So the business guy might say, I will sponsor this part. So that was the old world of doing things that I do on training needs analysis. And by the time it's deployed, let's say in March, then maybe the guy has already learned. So what used to work today may not work. So therefore, Agile SAM, and these models, which are slightly more restless models, if I were to say. Now, because my world was sort of peaceful. I started my life in 1984. There was no need to be hyper. There was no mobile. But today's times have changed, so you need to address this. Am I clear on the first part? So this is what is the learning outcome today.
Right, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
With that affirmation, I go to the next. So all of you know Adi. Okay, and those who are joining first time, like Dr. Siddharth, maybe it's the first time, so it's always a good time. So Adi is about analysis, which I said when people do a training needs analysis. So they know what the learner wants to learn. Then we go into a design phase. Okay, I have understood the customer's mind or my sponsor's mind. Let me put the word sponsor. So that person will actually deliver the course. So he will so that person will deliver, he will design, and then there'll be a person who will develop the course. And finally, it will be implemented. I'll come to all these 5 sections by and by, and there'll be an evaluation at the end. So all of you are aware with ADDIE: analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation. Now, what do I do in analysis? Can you tell me what is the questions that we ask in analysis? So when I go to my, like I said, in IBM or Tata Steel, wherever I was in a training profile, in PwC, what is the thing that I ask the practice leader or the business sponsor? Or in your needs analysis, let's make it easy for you. What are the questions you ask?
Who is the target audience? What is the desired outcome we need to achieve?
Absolutely.
Gap analysis, sir, where we are currently and where we have to be. Why is there a need of this development?
And as per the requirement, what is current competency and what is the required to do the task for particular skill development.
What is the
Thank
skills
you, Payal.
required
Everybody
for a
said right.
particular
I
job?
think Tej and Mukesh wants to say. Mukesh?
Sir, what is the skills requirement for a particular job?
What is the skills requirement for that job?
A particular job is called the analysis. Yeah, and what types of trainer we have to, just select the right trainer for right skills settings.
Right. Maybe we don't solution the trainer at this point in time. We know the needs, like many of your predecessors said, that what
Okay.
is the learning points, what are the performance gaps that needs to be addressed. And Tej Lekhani, I'm seeing the chats. You raised a hand, tell me.
Actually, in analysis, we can say it totally depends on the target audiences, which type of audience we have. So according to that, we can identify the learning objectives, we can identify the performance gap which they are facing, and according to that, we can move forward.
Absolutely. So in that analysis, we don't do anything beyond that. We try to get behind the mind of the sponsor or the customer or the guy who will pay for the training. Samsung, I think somebody raised a hand. Yeah. Thank you. I can see you on the camera. Okay, I see some raised hands. Do unmute and say, I'm just going ahead, and you'll have a chance again.
What are the expectations they have?
Sorry.
May I say?
What are the expectations they have? Yes.
We have to target the audience. And
You
then
have to target the audience. Yes.
Yeah. And then we have to see the gap in the performance.
Absolutely.
What is the desired gap and what is the present gap? And then on that basis, what is the outcome desired by the organization? According to that, we deliver the type of information which are required, and then according to that we design. We just find out what is the need of that audience, what is the need of those learners which we have to introduce. and then accordingly the the training design is done.
Yes. So it follows. Just give me a second.
Training need analysis has to be done in detail.
Right. It has to be done in detail. And training needs, so the people use formats, people use templates, etc. Maybe, I could, Nurajman, you had a point to say?
Yes, sir. So I think it should start with what is it they want to achieve through the training. Maybe probably we should ask what is the end goal of the training. And
Absolutely.
then probably we should dive down, I mean, what is needed, what is the skill gap and stuff.
Yes. What is the end objective? That is important. Why I made you say all this is because this part, if it's not well done, Nikita Joshi, please tell me.
I think we need to identify the problem first. Then, they should see what are the target audiences need, what is their current level of skill and knowledge, and if they have any resistance to change or learning as well. That is a very important component, and how that resistance can, at the very start, and how that resistance can be overcome. I think analysis would also require that.
Yeah, that itself is a training needs. In fact, if people are defensive or people are, I'm not getting down that path. I'm just doing a very blunt job that at this stage, I find what is the demographics, what is the performance gap, are they getting beaten by competition? Why are we doing this training? Okay, very simple. Now, whether they like it or not, whether they'll throw up the training or they'll throw up when training is thrown at them. So that is a second level, but thank you, Nikita. I'm just going ahead and we'll have a discussion. What I meant to say, the first part is very important. Like the foundation of your house, if it's not strong, possibly the program will not turn out very customized. I mean, we'll do a job. It'll be okay, tick in the box, good training done, people will go, but it will not hit the target. So therefore we go to design. And in design, what are the things that are done here in design? A quick one. When you start designing a program, what are the things you do?
We create a blueprint of the program, whether we are going to make it in a synchronous model or asynchronous model, or whether we are going to put it into an interactive session, or we just want to put it into a simple quiz or simple question answer round. It is basically we are going to design that whether we are going to make it online or offline, or whether we are going to make it self-learning based. It is a basically total designing a blueprint of the picture. I mean, the blueprint of an entire training program, where we are going to include, like, we are going to provide them a LMS, like we are doing in online training. The way right now we are also doing, this is a way you have designed the PGP program, where you are conducting 4 sessions a week, like that. It's a designing.
Thank you, Seema Agarwal. So pretty much what she said, you determine the learning objectives, create course or course outlines, how many days, etc., map time frames, whether you want to do it intermittently, whether you want to throw it all at once, etc., whether you want a flipped classroom. So somebody might say that give every material, let them come prepared. Like today, if I say that come prepared, we'll just have a discussion on questions. That is a flipped classroom. So basic, the way we go, I'll try to understand the frame, Avinash says, how it will move, etc. So design is an important part because you're trying to put in, as Seema and Avinash said, the mind of the requester into a structure, like Gaurav says. So I'm trying to put a structure. Should there be a pre-course reading material? Now, if it's a very basic audience, they will not come prepared. So you will say that I gave you that case study. Sir, when did you give it? I didn't receive. This is a typical reaction that you get. Unless it's a very curated audience that they're very responsible, they can teach you rather than you teach them. So classroom, gamification, yes. So pretty much how to engage, what should be the duration, and maybe this is the time when we come to Nikita's point, if they're defensive, if they throw up, if they're a bunch of ruffians, they don't want to listen, or they say that we are too full of themselves. So what are the things that we could do to, make them make it soluble, if I were to use a chemistry term, so that they, drink your solution. But thank you so much. I'm going on to the next. Okay, Samsung, just be off mute and tell me your, yeah.
We have to put emphasis on objective, outline, environment, user interface, time frame, and then what is the best assignment we can design in the limited time according to the need of the need we have come out, which is the outcome has come as per need analysis, which we have already done need analysis. On that basis, these are the steps by which we can do the designing process.
Excellent. I couldn't have explained better. Yes, I missed out the evaluation part, which, your good name, sir. I'm seeing Samsung, so.
Yeah, because I am away from my residence. I am on the way, so I am using Samsung.
No, you are using a Samsung mobile, but what is your name, sir?
Sanjay.
Sanjay ji. Okay, thank you, Sanjay ji, for that. There also needs to be, we need what evaluation do we give them? Okay, so I'm just going on a little bit faster now. Now, then we develop. Now, here is where the dazzling part comes in. Okay. Now, here is the tech part. Tech part in the sense that what are the modules you will put in e-learning? So you have done all these courses on POSH or let's say cybersecurity. So they'll give you a scenario. You are going to a bank and suddenly you're apprehended by two people. They say, can you give me your password? So there's screens and you do click, 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 click. So when they do this, they use a whole lot of tools. So here, what are the things that we use? That is something I'll ask you first and then show you the slide. So when you develop a course, which is actually, you're making the course. You're actually preparing slides, you're creating animation. So what are the tools that you use? I mean, if you have used a tool, then you can answer. If you have not used, you will Google and tell me something. But if you have used, give me a response.
I've used Kahoot.
Very good, Nitin. Can you tell a little bit authoring tools? Yes, Niladri?
It is a gamified interaction wherein the people can interact and do the learning on the basis of quiz and assessments.
Very good. So use Kahoot. Nikita has used Kahoot for quiz. It is very good. Nikita, would you like to say Niladri a little bit? And Gaurav, this is actually the heart of the whole class.
Yeah.
So I have used it for assessments majorly after each module has been taught.
Very good.
So there would be a group of students who would be engaging in the live quizzes, and it's quite interactive. Kahoot, the
Kahoot is
imagery.
good, but can you use it for more than 10 people?
Yes, you can. You have to pay a lot.
as a paid option. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to use Mentimeter. Nikita, thank you so much.
Okay.
And I think Niladri wanted to say you have used Canva, Sheetal.
Yes. So we have the option for using. We have like had the opportunity to use an authoring tool called as Domino.
Okay.
So yeah, that is basically more about creating the learning contents. And it produces COM files, which we can further put it into the learning management system and then publish it for our learners.
Excellent. And I have used one called Trello, which is used for project management, and Mural, which we used to do during COVID because there was no contact. So, people from ASEAN, they used to, if you do a design thinking workshop, for example, here also you can use a Blackboard in Zoom. Okay, we are all virtual. So I open up a Blackboard. So let me open up a new whiteboard. Can you do a little bit of scribbling or something? Do you find enabled? Let's say I do something. Okay, yeah. So now these are, thank you. If I were to, and so many, you are so creative. Let me give you an applause. Okay, now, yeah, this is what you want to do. We are 93 or so many of us. I'm just stopping for the time being. So similarly, if I were to get your ideas, I could put you in a breakout room. So that is what that development phase, you need to exactly, and since you are doing it virtually, you have to be very specific. In a classroom, you can do all your bells and whistles, gesticulate, but in a virtual medium, and if it's multicultural, okay, like Australians learn it different way. So they'll say, hi, mate, something. Well, it's confusing. The moment they say confusing means that, they're not getting it. So Southeast Asia, they'll not speak as well. So you need to be culturally very sensitive if you were to use, and so many of you, I'm just showing you the formal slide which is there. And I'm so happy that all of you, many of you use it. And you'll be very well off. So here's now Samsung, I'll come to Sanjay ji just in a minute. So like one of you said, I use Articulate. There was one chat. Who was that, Niladri or?
Samir.
Sorry, one more time.
It was Samir.
Samir used Articulate. Okay. So Samir, what is your experience about Articulate? Okay, similarly, we go to Miro. I have used Trello. Many of you, okay, Nurjaman, I'm coming to you in a moment. Kahu, as Nikita said, it's fun. I use a Mentimeter sometimes, because it's cool. Canva you use and Visme. Okay, just this one, let me stop sharing. Nurjaman and Sanjay ji, if you want to say something. And anyone else.
Sir, I've used Articulate, if I can just stay on it. So Articulate has been it's like an advanced version to PPT. It has like multiple layers wherein slides, states, layers, triggers, wherein the learner can learn at its own pace. So it delivers a SCORM package, and then we can transport it to LMS and easily. Everything is clickable over there. We can create anything clickable. We can create different levels of the learners to learn across. It's basically nothing to it.
Excellent, Gaurav. So do keep up this. This is one area, and not many people are good. This is where, if I really say I'm an instructional designer, this is where you need to be at the top of the game. If somebody said, what is the heart of this course, of this entire 10 modules that you will go through, I would say this is the heart of the entire thing. That if you are good designing a program and developing it, you are on top of the game. But let's say you depend on somebody, or, some are paid, of course. You have to pay Microsoft or, for all this. Like Nikita said, I use Kahoot, a paid version. So, but try it for free and see how it is. Okay, that is the only homework I wanted to give you today. Try it. Okay, then we implement. This is easy. People deliver a course like we are doing now. Everything is ready by, the NHQ team. Gurvinder is there hosting the show. I'm just here to present. So my job is very, very easy. Very, very easy in the sense that they have set me up for success. I couldn't have failed. But if they didn't set me up for success, if I had to boil the ocean, then I'll have to think that, okay, who are these people? Okay, there's people from various ranges. Some people are very, very experienced. Some would be like Siddharth, joining new. Some would be in the middle. So, that is what I meant by a good idea. And finally, we evaluate, which is there are two types of evaluation. Can somebody tell me? This also comes as a quiz later on. What are the two types of evaluation we do? Evaluation is how did the program go? So what are the things that we do?
We will have quizzes.
We'll have quizzes. We'll have
feedback.
We'll have feedback.
I will have 360
Sorry, Ajmal was saying, and then lady I'll hear later. Ajmal, you?
Pre-test and post-test.
Tanshri, pre-test and post-test. Do you love them?
Yeah.
You love them. Sometimes if the post-test, the guy scores lower than the pre-test.
Yeah.
then I say, whatever, the training has done you more harm than good. But that's how the world is.
We can also do 360 degree as a feedback.
Also, we do 360 degrees. Okay. And plus, there's a formative evaluation and there's a summative evaluation. I think Prasanna was about to say. Prasanna is always very, very.
Demonstration as well.
Sorry, Mukesh?
Demonstration. Demonstrations.
Demonstration as well. You can make them demonstrate. Prasanna, you are saying something.
Yeah, we will be doing a formative, summative, and also a diagnostic evaluation we used to do.
Very. Where did you do it, Prasanna?
So I live in Chennai.
Yeah.
For IT as a HR. So I'm basically an engineer. Then I have completed my master's in business administration and also a course into psychology.
Wow.
And now I've been enrolled into the training and development.
You're a guy like me, left brain and right brain. Okay. Initially, a very logical, because I thought that you will say this answer, and all of you, Ajmal and Dhanshri, you gave right answer. So formative is before the program is not open to the public, you have, let's say, a course sponsor, a client, an instructional designer, a HR boss. They sit and they give you a comment. Well, Rahul, you have made this module, it's good, but I think it's a little drag here. There's too much of gyan you're trying to throw, or not gyan, I mean, too much of knowledge that you're trying to throw. Put an activity here. Let them do it. So they give you a feedback. Summative is when you do it at the very, very end. Then actually you have committed yourself. So formative is with a few people and with some people. So I go on. Now, okay, let's do a quick one. So if let's consider an example of an organization that wants to improve its client-facing so client and customer. Okay, I confused the two. What is the difference between a client? I'm coming to Adi in a moment. What is the difference between a client and a customer? Sorry for my, my faux pas here. I made a mistake. I wrote both client and customer service skill. What is the difference between a client and a customer? Then I come to Adi. Mukeshji?
Yes, sir. Client means, I think, B2B, we can say the client and customer is a B2C. Business to customer, and B2B is a client.
Okay, Mukeshji, you have come very, very close. Nikita, Joshi?
Yeah, so a client, I think, is a work in progress and also is associated with loyalty. It's a recurring customer is called a client, and a customer is somebody who has used your services, just using your services. So if they if they use it continuously, they become your clients.
A clap to you. A client is relational. A customer is transactional. Okay. So that is
Sir,
what I
good
learned.
morning.
Sorry.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sir, client actually engage that relationship with service franchise. And I think they are long-term conclusion with the business. But in normally that particular customer is a short-term period. They are using buying, and if they are willing to buy in something in another industry, that I think.
True. The end user, or as you say, Rabuji, that is how it is. So in consulting world, for example, a doctor, every client is a customer, not every customer is a client. Customers are basically transactional. They'll come to you, they get their job done, and it's over. And clients are relational, like, auditors, you don't change. Lawyers, God help, you don't need them, but they don't change. Doctors, you will not change them. Consultants, you change. Now, these are, relational. For example, a training and a consulting, just going a little beyond the scope. Training is a one-time event. I did a great, oh, wow. Oh, good feedback. You're done. Consulting, if I go, I have to give you a questionnaire. I have to come to you the next time. Well, can you tell me, Nikita, what is the pain points which I could address? Can you? So you make so you're going relational. Okay, so sometimes there are many people who would not like to go all that mile. So just a little distinction between a client. Now the Addy question is, what would you do? Your guys don't have too much of customer facing skills. They're inward looking. They're not extroverts. Not that every extrovert would be a great seller, or. So if I tell you to Addy, do a quick Addy. what would you do in the analysis? The problem statement, let me put it up again because it's gone. So let me share this and share your quick thoughts. What might the 5 stages of ADDIE model look like for this company? So they want a program on customer skills. At the end, I mean, if I'm cutting down all the chase, client, customer, forget it. They want that their guys be better. So in analysis, what they'll do, in development, what they'll do, in design, what they'll do, sorry, the other way around, in deployment, what they'll do, implementation, evaluation, what they'll do. Just give me your answers on chat or on voice. But you have to say this is analysis, this is design, this is development, this is implementation, this is evaluation. So here I'm going for a very structured ADDIE level. After which I'll come to SAM and Agile, which is fast and furious. Can you tell me what will I do? If let's say this has come to you, that your guys are not customer friendly, they need that training. What did you do in the analyze phase?
In analysis, Avinash here, if you may.
Yeah, Avinash.
I was waiting because three people have raised their hand. I was waiting for them to speak.
No, please,
Yeah.
I mean, don't be polite here. There are 104 of us. Otherwise, you never get to speak.
Okay. So I was thinking in analysis part, I would like to know more about this. I would like to know from my client or from the field itself. I mean, the customer facing people itself, like what is the problem, where I need to work. And based on that, I'll design. And to implement here, I feel for this particular thing, I might be wrong, sir. I feel more of role play sessions or something like that would be helpful because I need to see where I to work, how can I help them to be more interactive with the customers, to sell more products or something like that. So evaluation would be again, I would not, I think summative would not be working here for evaluation. I think formative, like actually seeing whether the sales have grown or something, or observing them, how they're interacting now, considering before starting the program that I've designed. I think this is my point of view. I might
Very good, Avinash. A clap for you. More or less, you have nailed it. And I think Mustafa has also nailed it. He did it on chat. And he pretty much said that, when you do a survey, when you do an analysis, you really find out that if the guy is really, is this true that he cannot? So do a customer satisfaction survey. How can the guy handle, let's say, one of the things in seller training is objection handling. So a guy says, I'll not buy from you. I have supplier X who will give me cheap, who will give me better. So then how do you handle that guy? So know a little bit in the design phase. Okay, we sort of design the program that what is the pipeline? How can he convert a potential inquiry into a reality? In the development, you will have to create all the real life situations which Avinash mentioned, a role play. How will you do it? Something is role play. Implementation, you will have to put it up in the LMS. Evaluation, definitely a quiz or a post test, whether they do it well. I'm seeing also some answers. Any other voices? I'm just being mindful of the time, so going a little, but I wanted to have your Jyoti. Jyoti is saying check. Okay,
Yes,
Jyoti, would you like to speak?
communication.
Yeah.
Yes, checking the communication skill of a staff member, their body language, is it welcoming? Are they able to greet the customer, making them comfortable so that they could communicate and explain them the problem, and they can suggest them the great solution so that they could able to connect with the customer. And then
Absolutely.
only a customer would open up, tell them what are the challenges, and then they can give them the solutions. So that is also very important to checking the communication and the body language of the team, and whether they have
Excellent.
the knowledge of the products and services the company is providing or not. And then only they can address those issues. So that is also very important element. So soft
Thank
skills
you.
along with the
Yes.
technical knowledge.
Yes, along with that, you must know your product. And
Yes.
Samir, I agree with you. You
If I
said
may
about soft
add,
skills.
if I may add something, sir, I
Please
feel
add.
in the analysis part, I would like to have a feedback from the customers themselves, that what exactly are they expecting from the people. So I think that would help me a lot in designing the program, if I get to know the expectation of the customers. So I would like to do a survey of the customers first and then accordingly design the program. That is what I feel.
True, but in a real world, customers may not be so giving as to, giving you time
Right.
for feedback. So
Right,
if they
right.
reject you, that is the feedback itself. Why
Okay.
am I being rejected? Now you have to do introspection. For
Fine,
example,
fine,
if they
fine.
repeat you for a training, they ask you that, Rahul, you have done a good job. They will not say you have done a good job. So one guy told me, okay, we want you for this program. I said, why do you want me? Because we found value in the last program. So
Right.
many times I mail, can you give me a feedback how I was? They'll give you money, but they'll not give you feedback.
Feedback.
They'll
Correct.
give you a repeat order. So, the world works in a different way.
Right.
So I fully get you. So just a little bit. Now, where is Eddie? I'll come back to all the people. Widely accepted, proven. So this is slightly old, and therefore people, if you write something early on, you're an early bird, and it was done by a group of people, so mostly they got it right. A flexible model can be used as a continuous, but negative is it's too long a process, like I said about the IBM fall plan process. So we have budgets, then you start deploying quarter on quarter, there's a burn rate, how much money per quarter, how many dollars you need to burn. If you don't burn, it's use it or lose it. So now all this is good, but during quarter one, what was a reality during Jan to March may not be a reality between September to October. So times change. So if I stick to Addy, I will never get to SAM, which I was coming to. Now SAM is slightly more one-day international, I'd say. If Addy was test match, Gavaskar, Vishwanath during my times, Bishan Bedi, Farooq Engineer, these were the players. Then I saw Ganguly, Dravid, Lakshman, of course, Tendulkar, the greatest. So they didn't play one days. I mean, they played one days. But if you notice, Gavaskar once scored 16 in 60 minutes with West Indies in the Brew Cup in 1975. And India did very badly in that Prudential Cup. Because Gavaskar is a player, I mean, not to denigrate him, but he's a classical player. He cannot hit the ball out of the park. But in SAM, it's a soft skill you have to do. So there's a prepare stage, there's a design, and there's a develop. As you can see, in ADDI, there were 5 phases. Here it's just 3. So based on you finding, make a prototype and develop. So any of you who mindfully use SAM, that would be good rather than me doing the theory part. I mean, maybe you have not said it's SAM, but in a way you have used prepare, deliver, and prepare, design, and develop. Just to add from my experience, Jyoti, okay, why don't you speak? Your mic is good.
Yes, sir. Actually, you were explaining. That's why I stopped and I typed. Actually, we have taken feedback. I'm from furniture industry. So because the prices of the furniture is little high, so maximum of the time there are no free gifts for any customers. So what happened actually, one of the customer has given us a very low rating. Just to add in the point, someone has earlier said that we take feedback from customer maximum of the time. So when we asked that customer the reason for why he has given us such low rating, he said it was because I was expecting some free gifts or some gratitude from your end, which was not possible. So it was not at all related with service, neither with product. It was something of his expectations. So sometimes, customer service can be affected because of their expectation, their personal expectation, and nothing wrong with the services. Just as an example,
Great
sir, I'm adding
example,
nothing else.
yes. I mean, sometimes the customer might want something, but I fully agree. So SAM is slightly more modern in the sense that it doesn't go into too much of, evaluation. It just go with the flow, develop and do it iteratively. So there's a lot of importance in prototyping that I make a module and then I slowly go along with it. Example of SAM, let's say, middle manager's leadership. So your organization, and it took it from your study material because you could connect. I didn't say it, I mean, import something from my experience. Often that wants to enhance its middle manager's leadership capabilities. So what could be how will you do it? Let's say you are doing a SAM. Your middle managers, possibly, as you know, they are stuck in the middle between the top and the junior. So what could impair them? What are your thoughts for developing a middle management course for leadership capabilities? Many might say that, why will I show leadership? What do I get out of it? Will I be promoted? So what are your initial thoughts?
It is obvious, sir, that such kind of feedback will definitely come when you are working with middle managers. But to develop the capabilities, I would say, as you said, leadership workshop, I would say, instead of some classroom training or something. I think a simple, workable 2 hour, 3 hour workshop, I would like to design and develop on leadership itself.
Absolutely. So there are, the leadership, there's this Myers-Briggs model. I'm coming to Mukesh and people who raised hands, because it's a leadership is, a subject which is so, what would I say? So we have all known this. This is the leadership model. Okay, so anybody who's extrovert, openness, one who is curious, one who is emotionally stable. So these are sort of traits in a leader which show up early on in the day, but here it's a typical middle manager. Possibly they don't want to take responsibility because their job will be on the line. They find, like in IBM, we had so many, 450,000 of us. There were many places to hide. Like in a joint family, there's a small veranda, there is a small, where grandmother used to stay, in my old maternal uncle. All those have now gone. It's become history. Everything's become nuclear. But there were places to hide. Today, there's no more place to hide. You're out in the open. Okay, Mustafa Saksa may go report his promotion. That's an insightful one. Anything? I think one of you wanted to say something.
I want to say that this middle management is the level where the people are at maximum stress, because they have to fulfill the expectation of the top management also, and they have to get work from the lower management, manager people also. So the actual leadership skills should come and middle management itself, because they are the people who can implement the goal and goal of the organization, which are instructions which are coming from the top management. So the leadership capability of the middle management should be great. They must have perseverance. They must have motivational skill. They must know how to get work out of the people who are working under him, and they have to keep balance with the top management and the lower management.
Thank you, Sanjayji. I think that was very well explained. They're stuck in the middle. So that is their problem. And for them to really, value this, it's about that what do you get, if you go in for a leadership position. And here I am not really, analyzing their role. I'm trying to make a training program. So I will try something like I think one of you said, and if it works, then I go on to the next stage. So the next stage, if I'm speeding down the model, okay, where is some sort of a, teach slide, short-term projects, more good for soft skills. Like, you would see one of the points there, trainings that hard to measure. So in a typical, let's say I want something on a software training. Like in technical trainings, you can, it's very, like he said, 360-degree. So here, it works. Addy works in some cases. Sam is, the boss says, okay, I think there's a requirement here, Rahul, can you come? Can we have a quick word? The moment he says, I know that I have to give it within 15 days something. Can you do it in May? Now, the moment he says today is 4th May, I know that I have to be on by 29th, 30th, which in an ADDIE model, the guy possibly would have said, can we plan for the next quarter? I think that's a good time. So here they'll be quick. Process can be a repeat. And maybe it's not perfect, like ADDIE needs to be perfect. Your training will be mother of all trainings. So that I have understood, that there'll be no mother of all training. So Sam, I think, would be more practical. That, okay, you do something, maybe it's not a wow training, but get ready for tight deadlines and you have delivered something quick and dirty. I'm not denigrating Sam, but Being an old timer, I would possibly prefer Addy, but I see full value in Sam. And Addy versus Sam again. Okay, I'm taking one of your chats, just going a little fast. Different, keep the subject lovely, situational management style. Thank you so much for that. Okay, one is linear. Addy is one by one by one. This is iterative, that you go in a, like, you know, the yin and the yang, the Chinese say. So Americans like linear, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Chinese Oriental models are little, you know, like that famous song that you love and then you attract and then you rebel. So there's a song by a guy called Mukesh, and he says that there's love and there's a throwback. I cannot sing so well, but I remember the song. Nikita.
I wanted to understand,
Yeah.
Addy is more of a thing which can be done for established organizations, whereas SAM is something which is being done for startups or developing organizations, or probably newer initiatives in a developed organization. Am I right? Or
You're right. You couldn't be
okay.
more than right. Addy is
Thank
one,
you.
which is, you know, very established player. So I'm just giving, I mean, this is all there in your study guide. Addy is slow, this is fast, relatively costly. And I'm going to the final one, which is agile. Agile is that daily there's a stand-up meeting, and agile is about, you know, there's a deploy, you review, you develop. Okay, you plan, let me go the right way. You plan, you design, you develop, you test the prototype, deploy it, again review. So, and this you do at very fast intervals. Maybe you do it once in a week. Let's say in this week, this worked well. For example, typically it will fit in a situation where there's a sales pipeline or you have to recruit people and there's a target given. So in such a case, it's not really a training, more of a project oriented, but let's say I'm trying to put it into a training. In a training also, there would be, you know, we tweak it. For example, you'll see many trainers who do not take slides or, you know, they're not ready for day 1, 2, 3. So I've seen in IBM, I'll say, what will the second half, what will you do? He's a co-fac. Well, let's see, Rahul, the first half, how it goes, and then I decide during lunchtime. So that is a typical agile model. The guy has not prepared. He has something in mind. But for us, we want to be prepared with some course where I have to, you know, I cannot play agile with you here, which ideally I would have liked to, but I'll start with Addy, I'll come to Sam, then I'll go to agile on the, you know, 53rd minute, because I know by 1 hour I'll have to let you go. So agile is more of a IT borrowed methodology, but agile works and it works in sprints. So, and people who have worked in agile, in IT, they will know this, what I mean. Okay, what is good about agile? One is that no time to die, like James Bond. You know, if you have seen that movie, I like that guy, whoever is the new Bond, the good Daniel Steele or somebody. No time to die. Okay, I think somebody gave me the name. Okay, used for soft skill training. Sheetal said something. Okay. Ocean 360 degree. Let me go to here. Daniel Craig, Shudip. Shudip is a Bond lover. Okay. I like Daniel Craig. Okay. I like that, you know, that last song, Skyfall. Okay. So enhanced collaboration, rapid attraction, learning. You only on the learner. It's not about the people who are doing it. Addy is slightly more. The learner, the trainer qualification, his PhD, his MBA, etc. All these will come into design. Here there's the guy who does it. It's like a Messi scoring at 120th minute. Okay, not like an Mbappe who will score, but Messi will win the match. I'm not saying Mbappe is bad and Messi is good. I like Messi a little bit more. Efficient resource allocation, enhanced quality assurance. Let me go to the last one and then we'll do a small quiz. So we do it in sprints. So you see that this agile mode is working. You have, you know, changed the training program. You have made a tweak, cut out all the, you know, overlay, all the, you know, things which are not necessary, just the bare bones. And then people says, no, sir, I want a little bit of context. I'm a slow learner. Okay, so you give it a little more time, you pamper. Then again, you know, like the governments which come in and go. So somebody will say something, the next government will say, no, this was not good. We do it this way. And on it goes, and civilization rolls on. So here's a chart on Agile versus SAM versus ADDIE. So more from an exam point of view. From a practical point of view, you must be good at. Can you tell me what was the heart of the slide of today? The development tools that many of you spoke to. Yes.
Design part.
Yes. If you know authoring tools, if you're good in Trello, if you're good in Canva, that is it. But here, if you have to pass an exam, you have to know what's the difference between an ADDIE, linear, very high flexibility. So you'll see the continuum is that we go from one to other. Incremental approach, pretty much like Japanese say Kaizen. So slowly you increase. Collaboration low. Yeah, people work in silos because they don't need to be friends. SAM and Agile, even if you're not a team player, you're an individual contributor, but you have to be a team player. Okay. So can be cost effective? Not cost effective. This is cheap, Agile and SAM as is today. So this is what I leave you with, that one is understanding learner goals, exploring learner traits, get into the content complexity, whether the guy can take all this gyan, whether he'll take all the knowledge, or do you want to make him activities because he's more of a hands-on guy, depending on the level that he is there in the organization. Contextual nuances, okay, all these are good English words, aligning with assessment strategies. Okay, can you give small examples of each model? So as I said, Mustafa, one is if I do a change management program, I will do it that way. If I do a strategic management, if I do, that will be, or technology, something that I want to, have a budget for. I have the luxury of time, I'll go, Mustafa, for ADDIE. If I don't have the luxury for something crops up during the run of a quarter, you have done from ADDIE and you have realized that this training is not going well. Even after your negotiation training, the guys are not being able to beat a TCS or an Accenture. I mean, IBM is losing. So in that case, I will try to do it that they know more of product. They can do a pitch immediately. They can do it with any device. So that would be more of a SAM. Agile is more used in project, Mustafa. So let's say project management training, every day there's a stakeholder who will be at loggerheads. So the guy says, no, I am not aligned, or there are risks to be mitigated. In those cases, I'll do a agile training. Could I answer you, Mustafa? I'll just give you 3 situations. These could be, there could be many more, sort of. Okay. So long story short, ADDIE is for long term. SAM is for, I'm saying Mustafa. I'm saying successive, that model that is a little midterm. Agile is here and now. If there's no luxury of time, you have to do a training tomorrow, then possibly you will just have a phone call. While you are doing the phone call, you are preparing the content. And you have seen many companies, startup companies, they work like this. I think Nikita said this. I've seen this in a company called Andwalk. They keep the mobile with them, and on the mobile, they're on the phone. And while the call is going on, they're making the slides. So that I would say is agile, that you work with all your senses all together. Okay, so it's slightly stressful in a training sequence, in a project. Since you're living that project, I think people are doing it day in, day out. So we'll have a small quiz if you may. And can you give a small example? We tried to. And Gurvinder, if you can just put up a 10-question quiz and we are done with it. Any final questions? I didn't hear from Shormishta, from Hajira Banu, I heard from Maurya. Rahul was very silent for a change. Monica, Niladri, Nitin, anything to do with crowd count. Okay. Yeah, if it's a huge crowd, yes. If it's, okay, if it's a big crowd, if you're doing it for the demographics, then obviously ADDIE is the one. If you're doing it for a small number of people where the people will be cooperative, thank you, Mustafa, that would be an agile, or SAM would be more fit because these are low cost models. So we will not try an ADDIE there. But great question, Mustafa. You make me think. Actually, I'm trying to understand all these new terms. So why don't we take a quiz and maybe you do it better? Chandan Singh, you spoke the last day.
Yes.
We are
Hi,
nearly
sir.
done of time. So Gurvinder, if you can give the quiz, because they need to go. I think 11:30 you have a class. Do you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll need to
Hi,
do it.
sir. Just a quick question. I just wanted to understand from your side, sir. Your side.
Yes.
If I do a session for a day, basically
Yeah.
a counter session of ADDIE, to betterment of the class and everything. So what would be the best way? Either we go by the SAM model or the Agile model. What do you
Okay.
suggest and why?
Look, people prefer both of both. I cannot say, in today's time that I'll only play test match. I gave you the example of Gavaskar. Today he does commentary on, this IPL. So I think ADDIE is the one you use, Mustafa. And we can use incremental. So if you know a little beforehand, let's say, Chandan Singh, there's a training program coming up in June or May 30th. You can afford ADDIE. If the guy says do it tomorrow, then maybe you'll have to go the SAM or the Agile mode. For example, they say tomorrow, can you deliver a program for us, Chandan? Then at that time, you don't have, analyze, decide. It's all about time. So I think times are changing. And thank you for the question. I don't know whether I answered your question, but I tried to do a little bit. Okay, so Gurvinder, are we ready with the quiz? ADDIE is the best. Okay, let me see the polls. I think he's put the polls. Just one sec. Okay, morning poll 10, quiz 1. It's poll 1. Lunch. Have you been through? Okay, no, this is not the one. Let me just, I think we choose Nikita. Just 2 minutes, give me, and I'll put it up. Just a sec. Just give me 1 minute. I'll close it in 2 minutes time. 11:20. Just give me 4 minutes because I don't see the quiz. Just 1 sec. It's a very easy quiz, so you'll be able to do it. Fat. It'll all be easy for you, so just don't bother. Just to test that whether we did something. And since all of you love quiz, let me do it for you. Tell me 1 and 2. 1, 2, and 3. What is the first way?
Charlie.
Analyze.
Second is?
Analyze, design, develop, and evaluate.
1 minute. Just 1 minute. So analyze was the first one.
Yes.
Design.
No,
The
develop.
second one.
2 is C, right?
Develop is the first. This is the very good. 3 is develop is when you are making all those tools. Okay, that co-authoring things which we said. So let me put it bold. 3 is easy. Which one? 3 is what?
C. Measuring effectiveness.
Measuring effectiveness. C.
Easy peasy. 4 is what? 4. Let me go a little up.
SWOT.
Needs
What is the right
assessment.
answer?
Need assessment.
Sanjay ji gave the right answer.
Need assessment.
Oh, all of you are doing so well. Some of you are not doing too well, but even though I have to say that you are doing fantastic, man. Okay, 5.
A. Script writing.
Storyboarding.
Okay.
Audience analysis.
Audience analysis is the
Audience
right
analysis.
answer.
Audience analysis.
I think there's a wise man who Sanjay ji, or I don't know, is it Prasanna? I'm not seeing your chats, but just give me a minute. Let me go. Another 5 questions, we are done. Who is saying the good answer? Nitin, is it you?
No, sir. I'm
6. SAM model.
Iterative and rapid prototypes.
Iterative and rapid prototypes. Okay.
C.
Good. And 7 is? Okay, this we didn't do as such.
C.
C. Collaborative brainstorming.
Collaborative
It's actually this, but we didn't do it. So it's an unfair question. That's you didn't teach us this, but you're asking. Okay, 8. This I said many a times. Which is the one which IT uses?
Agile.
Agile. 9. Which key characteristics shared by Sam and Agile?
Agile is
Iterative development.
Very good. You are rocking. And 10, and we are done.
Most important.
Training goals and learner needs.
You just needed that reading time.
Training goals and learning.
Yes. I'm really so very happy. So at the end we got somewhere, is it? Chandan say it's new to you, it's new to so many of us, but yet we got somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll not take
Yes,
your
sir.
time. You just have 10 minutes to grab a cup of tea or something. It was a pleasure. We'll meet on the next Sunday.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you.
Have a good day. Nice. Bye.
Thank you, Avinash. Bye-bye.